Hey, Lee here, and welcome to the pull list for August 29th, 2012, presented by LongboxRadio.com. First off, anyone who showed up to our Mend the Bat stream or donated, thank you very, very much. We actually were able to raise quite a bit of money for the local Winnipeg Humane Society, so the pets, thank you. So hopefully we'll hope to do it again. I mean, it was quite successful for the little amount of advertising we had. So anyways, going on to the books this week, we have Justice League number 12. This, of course, coming to us from Jeff Johns and Jim Lee. And, of course, we have Superman and we have Wonder Woman. They're making out on the cover there. And I'll tell you why I don't like this. First off, I mean, Superman's got his own, just huge list of romantic interests. Wonder Woman is kind of being set up in Brian Azzarello's book. She has some involvement as well. So, more or less, this feels like something a sitcom would do in its failing years. And I have actually never liked this book, and I've been very, very vocal about that. Jim Lee's art is fine. I don't mind it at all. Jeff Johns is writing, of course. He's DC's kind of ace in the hole at the moment. I had to look at the thing to remind me there. But I don't know, man. It's very shallowly written. I don't expect this love story to be much more than, they're each, in a moment of self-pity and end up making out or something like that, and that's all that will come of it. It's really, I don't want to say a cash grab. I've been beating up on DC these last couple weeks, but yeah, cash grab. Spaceman, this is coming to us from Brian Azzarello right here, the aforementioned Brian Azzarello. This is the last issue of this. This is 9 of 9. It's been a really, really neat book. You have a main character who's like this human-ape hybrid that was, it's in the near future, was basically bred for this mission to Mars with a bunch of like creatures like him, and some things go wrong there. They come back, they're kind of integrating into society, which they find very difficult, and he gets wrapped up in kidnapping plot and stuff. Super, super cool book. Very off the wall and very different than anything else I really have on my pull list. Going over to Image Comics, we have one book. We have Morning Glories number 21 right there from Nick Spencer, Joe Zima, of course. It seems like it's been a while since we've had an issue of Morning Glories. Another book that since it started, I've definitely been on and trying to keep up with. It kind of keeps digging itself in this weird hole that people keep comparing it to Lost, the television show, being like, oh man, it gets so confusing, and then they give you that little tidbit of truth, and you kind of start piecing it all together. This is a very slow burn of a book, and I know Mike and Rob for the podcast, and a lot of people I've tried to turn on to the book don't like it because of that. And me personally, I'm kind of lost on it. Other books that kind of establish a confusing universe and explain it very well. There's something like Mind the Gap from Image as well, from McCann, and something like that kind of has a lot of ins and outs. Not quite as bizarre as a book like Morning Glories, but does a good job of kind of recapping and reminding you of all the little things. So it's harder to get lost, whereas Morning Glories definitely has lost quite a few readers along the way that I know personally. I can't speak on the greater scale of things. I know the book's probably doing very, very well. So never mind. Avengers, this is Versus number 5, coming to us from, I believe, Jason Aaron does the Black Panther vs. Storm, which is basically a domestic dispute. Then we have Fraction on the other one doing Angel, I guess, versus Hawkeye there. And it's Lionel Yu on the art on the second part, so that's super cool. I've enjoyed this book. This is what this event should have been, just ass-kicking. So there's that one from this week. Also, we have Avenging Spider-Man number 11. So we have Zev Wells on writing, and he kicked off this series. I love Zev Wells writing Spider-Man. I'm a big fan. This one apparently is going to be hanging out with Aunt May, who I didn't know was an Avenger, but apparently is. So there she is. Steve Dillon does the art, which I love Steve Dillon because I'm a big Punisher Max fan. This is something else. That's really, really weird to see his art on a Spider-Man book. Anyway, I think I like it. Anyway, there it is. So that's Avenging Spider-Man this week. Moving on, we have Ultimate Comics X-Men. This is from Brian Wood. I really liked his first issue on this book, which is issue 14, obviously. They're kind of going on a Kitty Pryde rogue, Wolverine's son, whose name escapes me for the moment, whatever. They're all going on more or less a road trip across the states to find out how bad it is on the West Coast and hopefully help out their mutant brethren. Super cool. I don't know. I love that first issue. It felt like it was going places and really accomplished a lot, so I'm looking forward to that one. Keep it up, Brian Wood, on that book. Going over to Wolverine and the X-Men from Jason Aaron. Maybe we'll have Wolverine actually show up in this book. He's been absent for the last few issues, but still an AVX tie-in, which I'm not crazy about, but there it is all the same. I like that book before the tie-in, so I can't wait for it to get back to what it was doing. And then we have Exo Man of War number 4. It's already number 4. That Summer of Valiant's just in high gear there, so there we have it. Been a super cool book. A lot of the Valiant stuff. Well, I mean, there's 4 books. I've read all the first issues. They've all been pretty good. Man of War and Harbinger, I'm sticking on. The other 2 I might drop, which is Archer and Armstrong and Bloodshot. So definitely check it out if you're looking for support Valiant. They're good. They're good people. And finally, we have previews this week. On one side, we have Iron Man #1, which will be the restarting of course, Iron Man 2 when Fraction's Invincible Iron Man finishes. On the other side, we have Rot World, The Epic Continues, and Swamp Thing. So a little advertisement for there. So the big two kind of picked up the two covers of the preview book this week. So I'm going to leaf through that and see what's going on. Ferris, cool run coming up with Rapunzel, and Adam Hughes said he wants to draw every cover with Rapunzel on it without any clothes and see how many different ways he can get away with that, with the hair draping the good bits. So anyways, that's the pull list for this week. Back again next week. Me and Mike are trying to get a podcast recorded tomorrow, actually. That'd be number 38, I guess, at this point. So we'll talk all about the Rob Liefeld self-explosion on Twitter against Scott Snyder and what's happening with the DCU. Also, Fan Expo happens. So there's lots of news from that to talk about as well. So that's it for this week. Lee signing out.